everyone, Miss AG here, and I'm going step by step through my process of painting this digital eye. I'm using Photoshop CS4, but I'm going to keep my process as simple as possible so that other programs can be used as well. Alright, let's get started. I began by putting some starter skin color down. Then, on a layer above the background, I sketched out the shape of the eye. Need extra help drawing the eye? There's a link in the description. Underneath the sketch layer, start adding some base colors of the eye. My brush was around 18% opacity and about 35% hardness. I started with the eyeball itself. Next, I boosted my opacity to about 25% and started adding the shadows of the skin around the eye. It's okay for the shadows to be inconsistent and messy at this point. The purpose is just to block them in. Blending will come later. Next, I made my brush a smaller size and retraced the eye shape under the sketch layer. Now the sketch layer can be made invisible. Feel free to darken the outline more if necessary. Next, I colored in the iris with a light blue and added some shading around the outer rim and the center where the pupil will go. I continue building the darker shades around the eyeball. Now it's time to work on the highlights. Start with the upper and lower eyelid. Think about the 3D shape of the eyelid and where the light would reflect because of that. To blend, take a soft brush with low opacity and pick up colors adjacent to each other before putting them down on top of each other. This blending technique helps build layers of color and keep a healthy level of texture. I darken the outline of the eye some more, and then start blending some of the shadows and highlights. I work on the iris, outlining it, drawing in a pupil, and adding some shading and texture. I add a few strokes of red color to the eye and surrounding skin and blend it. Next, some small white highlights on the lids and corner of the eye to help create the illusion of wetness. I add a shadow under the lid and highlight over the pupil. A round highlight will look odd. Instead, I add some random shape to make it look more like the eye is reflecting back lights from the room or an object. I sketched in a few eyelashes, then darken them. Draw the lashes curved and in triangular points rather than straight lines. I do a small refinement of the eye, and move on to adding some texture. Custom brushes are good for this effect, but for this tutorial I picked one of the default brushes, enlarging it and changing the settings until it added a noisy sort of texture to represent skin pores and the like. I added some highlight areas to parts of the eye, and a few extra refinements. And that's it! I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them down in the comments section below.